So this on this video, we're going to cover water distillation. Water distillation works the same as alcohol distillation. You can use any of these up here to do water or alcohol distillation. The problem is this one here this one here will only go up to 158 Fahrenheit or around 108 Celsius. So you cannot distill certain alcohols out at these temperatures. In most cases, this is not a biggie. The dilemma with the old system, and I say old system in reference to the way that it cooled, was you would have water in, water out. It would circulate around a copper, typically a copper line. As this stuff boiled at certain temperatures, the vapors would rise through the lines, would get cooled through the flowing water, and come out as a warm to hot liquid. This is why a lot of your real old stills were typically always around streams, lakes, somewhere that they had a continual flow of cool water. The ones used in home brewing, in many cases, it becomes a water waster because you have nowhere to hold hours and hours of continuously flowing heated water to be replaced by the cool water. So a lot of people would run the inline to a faucet and the outline to a sink or a drain. And so you just, lots of water waste. And I really never liked that concept. Enter the electrical age. This little puppy here will do about, it will hold about 5 liters, depending on the model that you get. It has a it has a unit that you can set your temperature. It will tell you what the temperature is, and it will tell you the approximate run time that it's been running. And or you can set this, it's also a timer that you can set it to run for a certain amount of time that it shuts off. Again, depending upon the model that you get. The neat thing about this is it is totally electric. The upper section, which would be this here, or this unit down here, that heats and vaporizes the liquid. Sorry. The unit here and here that cools and chills the liquid is this unit here. It's completely electric. It's completely ran by a cooling fan. And so you don't have to run these thermometers stuck in here. You don't have to worry about overpressurization. If you overpressurize this, the top's simply going to pop off. So you don't have a big kettle bomb anymore. And you can, as I said, all except probably 2 types of alcohol, you can distill in this. Most importantly, water. Drinking distilled water is not bad for you. Yes, it does not have the minerals and so on. It may taste a bit strange to what you're used to. However, it is perfectly good. Scientific research has proven this. Don't give me the I feel or I read on Google somewhere or whatever. It's perfectly good to drink. The dilemma is it's not highly suggested to drink all the time, since you're also, when you distill, you're filtering out required minerals and so on that would normally be in natural water, which we don't get anyway anymore because it's all, brought in and fluorinated or whatever. But the thing is, if your diet is giving you and supplementing you with the required minerals and nutrients, you don't need to get it from the water. And especially during times where you may need to get get the water, where you have to boil water or whatever, then this would get the job done. Another positive of this system over the old system. My original one that we had was, I think it was 2.5 or 3 liters, and it burned out. We used it so much one year that for whatever reason the little system down here went wonky on us, and it stopped functioning. But I took the top, renovated it, and turned it into a 12-liter oven-topped water distiller. So instead of doing 5 liters, now I could put it in and run 12 liters. Since my container here that I use is a 4-liter system, once I dump it on the 2nd liter, I know that I'm running low in my tank, and I can either cut the oven off, let it cool, or I can pop the top off and add more water. Because the way that I did it, still allows it to depressurize by kicking that top off instead of being sealed in this way and going boom. And that's the basics and the difference between the old water distillation and alcohol distillation, because water vaporizes at 100 degrees Celsius. All right, let's have a look at this. Now, I also use this system for condensing my vinegars at home. This is for a couple of reasons. One, this heating unit, will only go to 108 Celsius. To properly distill vinegar, you need it to go up to 118, which means I would run this at 117 Celsius, and it would get rid of the butanol, everything above it. Okay. Then at 118 Celsius to 136 Celsius, I am distilling pure vinegar essence. Unfortunately, I could do it with my big 12-liter, but I would need to make a modification to it to where I can check the temperature of the vapor as it rises. But for this unit that I mostly use, it will not reach those temperatures. So what I actually wind up with is I will run it at 108 Celsius. It removes all of a percentage of the water. So if I put the vinegar in for, say, I put 5 liters in, I set it for 108, I burn off um, 2.5 liters, I know I have now reduced my content by 50%. I've condensed it, reduced it. I prefer the flavor. It's a stronger flavor. It's good for um, doing salads and different things. If I wanted to raise this back up, all I'd have to do is put in some distilled water, 1 to 1, and still use it for jarring, canning, and everything else. Also, in the same principle, while I'm doing this, it by condensing it, it reduces the amount of storage space that is required. So instead of keeping two 10-liter containers of vinegar, I could have one 10-liter container of condensed vinegar and raise that back up as I use it if I desire. All right, just a couple of things to think about on that. On alcohols, normally during when you make vinegar, the vinegar is exposed to the air. And right after this, I'll show how I do the vinegar, and it'll help you understand it better, I hope. When you ferment for alcohols, you do not want oxygen getting back into the system, so typically you use what's known as a water lock. And it allows the gases to escape but does not allow any more oxygen to get into the system. When the yeast has used up all the oxygen, it starts making the acetone, the methanol, the ethanol, and the propanol alcohols. When you make vinegar, it still will produce some of this, but not in as large of quantities. However, by condensing or reducing the vinegar, we are, all of these alcohols up here, we are removing, except for the acetic acid. Acetic acid is what basically makes vinegar, okay? The acetic acid boils at 118. As I said, this will not reach that temperature. But if I run this at 100 to 108 and remove 50% of the content, I have condensed and reduced those acetic acids, and basically it's now stronger. It'll have a stronger flavor, everything else. And then this extra water and so on, you really wouldn't want to drink it. It still carries some of the flavonoids and stuff. We'll get into that later. But I use it in the garden, plants, whatever.